Hello, I'm Astrid. I'm doing this here in my kitchen because my kids are occupying the living room. I'm letting them watch a TV show. But I'm here to talk about the fundamentals of Wicca and what Wicca is. I'm going to cover, first of all, the Witch's Creed, the Rite of Wicca, the basic fundamentals, and the 13 principles. For those of you, I'm not going to cover everything, like in the Rite and stuff like, especially the Rite, because it has a lot to do with life cycles and what you do during that times. I'm going to talk about the morals, the belief system, the ethics, kind of like that. To start off with, Wicca. It is an earth-based religion. It believes everything in the earth and its creatures should be held, with responsibility and cherish them because it's all part of the universe. It's all one thing. So that's kind of like with that. There is a god and there is a goddess. They are equals. The god is represented by the sun, also known as Lord of the Dance. He's a part of the solar cycle, the year cycle type of thing. And then there's the goddess, who is the moon, and she's usually coincided with the moon cycles. And they are equals. One thing I do like about Wicca is that it does have the both feminine and masculine aspect. There's only very few things here on Earth that's only asexual, so I definitely see where it makes sense that it's both masculine and feminine. It's definitely, I'm going to be using a few quotations to start off about the fundamentals of Wicca with this book. The lighting in my kitchen is kind of funny. If I put my actual big light on, it's like super bright. You can't see me, so. Okay. Wicca believes that deity comes to each person in a way that is best understood by that person, and this occurs differently for different people. It believes relationship between a person and deity is highly individual, personal, and subjective. And everybody will have the same understanding of deity because not everyone is in the same situation or able to understand from the same level or perspective. Because each person is different, no one has the right to judge another person's relationship with deity. So it's pretty much saying everyone has their own path because they're all unique and individual based off different personalities, different experiences, and if you want to go further than that, different parts of reincarnation, the different levels of that too. So a variety of different reasons why people believe that. The word pagan does come from the meaning from the countryside, so that's another reason why it's highly related to earth religions and stuff like that. So let's see. Pretty much, pagan religions have been built up over millennia as a result of people's observations and experiences. They are living and growing religions that can and do change when change is needed. I know there's a lot of religions out there that haven't changed over the course of time and pretty much have been the same since they've started. One thing with Wicca, it does believe in change because the times do change, people do change. We're not the same place that we were like 100 years ago. Pagan religions revere the natural forces and cycles of life, and it's from observation of and interacting with these forces and cycles that their beliefs developed. This just reminds me of the year. For example, spring is renew and birth, like childhood, and like the summer is when we grow up a little bit and become more mature in our adult lives. And fall is also a representation of like our golden years, and winter is a representation of death. But of course, after death becomes renewed life. So that's kind of like one thing that's kind of neat that kind of interacts. Wicca is a non-book religion. According to this book here, there's a couple of fundamentals that book religions have in common, such as Judaism, Christianity, Islam, and Satanism. These books are all descended from the supposedly historic bargain between Abraham and Jehovah, which is recorded in their books. They all have common elements in a jealous, vengeful God, final day of judgment, hell, the original sin, which is like the basic sinfulness of humankind, superiority in the male sex, and they believe that their book came from God when it was written by man, like by a man's hand, human being's hand. None of these are shared by Wicca at all. Absolutely none of them. So that's what makes Wicca unique from these other religions. Wicca is a path of transformation and growth that will change you and lead you to a renewed and enriched existence. I personally have experienced this. Like I said before, I did grow up in a Christian church. I remember looking around and it was really empty. It was, like, even my peers, I was 6 years old when I first witnessed this, maybe a little bit younger. But I was sitting there in a praise and worship, and I was looking at my peers, and there was a lot of emptiness. It's the best way of putting it, and a lot of like negative feelings. And I realized even then that's not how it should be. It should be full of love and laughter and joy and peace and all those good feelings you're supposed to have. You know, like the cup overfloweth with whatever. And I also noticed a lot of these kids, their parents were highly active in the church, like sometimes overly active. And yes, there's like this one set of parents, they kind of scared me a little bit. They were like the extremists. So yeah, so that's kind of like, and another thing that really turned me off about the church is that I used to believe in Jesus. I was a follower of Jesus Christ for a long time. And I remember people wouldn't even talk to me for 5 minutes, and they swear to God, I need to be reborn again, or I need, you know, all that stuff that comes with that. When I was born into Christianity, and I was raised Christian, because I didn't really like question my faith until that happened all the time, right around 12 years old. When they found a book that I didn't even read, and they didn't know anything about me. So that was really painful, you know, and hurtful. And like, it's like, really, you don't know me. You haven't even sat down and talked to me. You're just making assumptions. And that's one thing that Wiccas are not supposed to do, is to be judgmental. That's a huge thing, and I'll cover that a little bit more later. So, the next thing I'm going to cover, I believe that's all from this book. I'm going to go into my personal notes. History the one that I carry around with me when I go to town and stuff, or like church and stuff like that. So I'm a Wiccan who still goes to church. So, yeah, with that being said, I'm going to go, let's see. There's a lot of different things in this book. I'm going to go to the very beginning of it and to kind of share with you what I have in here. So, like, for all those who don't know, a Book of Shadow is a witch's personal notes of his or her individual, for me, mine, her, for their path and their faith, you know, their own personal inventory of what they should know and what they should, you know, kind of that kind of stuff, you know, kind of like a lot of people who read the Bible. Like I said, I know Christianity very well, so I use them as a reference. Like those who read the Bible, they'll write down notes, things that stand out to them, things that they find important. Wiccans do that too, but with more variety of reading material and other experiences and stuff. The craft is accepting and generous and loving. It is gentle, unobstructive, that means doesn't obstruct things, destructive, whatever, and supportive. And it is supportive. It is an ethical way of life that once embraced brings measurable joy and wonder to everyday living. And this I have experienced. Like I mentioned before, I became through a really strong spiritual rebirth personally. I've really noticed it's been very fulfilling and definitely life-changing since then. Wicca is an earth religion, often held rituals outdoors celebrating the change of the seasons and the beauty of the moon, the stars, and the sun, living in harmony with nature, and believe that all things, even inanimate objects, have a life, a spirit, and a purpose equal to our own. This comes in hand to know because we do use a lot of tools. Do you know, like, kind of like how people pray over their food to make it blessed and neutralizing, you know, whatever. Wiccans do the same thing, but different things have a specific meaning. Like sage is a really common one, which is made to purify. Rosemary is another one. I think it's also used for communication. I'm not sure. I have to double check. But my favorite one is salt, because it's a great way of grounding yourself, and it's purification, and it's, you know, like when I bless a lot of homes or like help like ward evil spirits out, I like to use sage or salt because it's, you know, works best for me. And same thing with like rocks. Different rocks do different things, mean different things. Same thing with colors, you know, times of the year, cycle of the moon, all that kind of stuff. Sorry, my puppy's here. She's funny lemons. Okay, here's what makes it different from original sin. Humankind creates its own evil and are handled through the laws of karma and the lessons of reincarnation. Yeah, reincarnation is a big subject. It can get complicated. I'm still trying to figure a lot of different things out on that. So I'll get into that later. But karma is a big thing. A lot of people believe in the threefold law. Everything you do, good or bad, comes back to you 3 times. So that's kind of what that comes from. Let's see. We are perfectly capable of handling whatever comes our way, and we do have the tools and power to change our personal realities. Try to remember the things that our parents tried to instill within us. Okay, this is kind of like goes hand in hand. Perfectly capable of handling that comes our way. There's no reason why we're doing kind of like Christians believe, you know, God will give me what I can handle. You know, they have faith that God won't give them anything that they can't do. It's kind of the same thing with Wicca. Okay, puppies, you have puppies. Go play. You know, it's kind of the same thing with Wiccans. You know, they have the tools to be able to handle whatever it may be. I will go into further detail about the tools and what I believe should and should not be done when it comes to like controlling our realities, but also like to remember things that parents try to instill with us that I do find important. So, like with that being said, I know there's some parents out there that have not been the greatest, but that's also a way of changing your reality by having a different perspective. You can learn what not to do, how you should not handle things, you know. And if you have been blessed with a great set of parents, you know what you can and you know what you should do with different things, you know, things that they try to teach us. So that's kind of the opening statement of my notes before I get into anything else. So what I'm going to cover next is going to be the Witch's Creed. I'm going to have to do this in different segments because I only have 15 minutes of recording and I have a lot to say. So, but yeah, next is going to be the Witch's Creed, which is to know, to dare, to will, to keep silent. And there my puppy just scared me. She startled me. Okay, chill out, puppy. Are the 4 words of magic. And in order to dare, we must know. In order to will, we must dare. We must will to possess empire. To reign, we must be silent. Okay, that's kind of like a double-edged sword, and I'll get into that in the next clip. But this is, like I said, this is pretty much the introductory of how I pray and worship and stuff like that. So, okay, well, I hope you guys check out number 2. This is number 1. Check out number 2. Okay, I'll see you guys later. Thanks.